Welcome to an IVS computer technology tutorial. My name is Julie and I'm the education consultant that's going to walk you through today's steps. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to deliver a formative assessment. And when we use the term formative assessment, we mean those questions that you sprinkle in throughout your lessons to check for understanding. Before you deliver your assessment, just be sure that you plug in your receiver to your computer. And then the first step after that is to start your class. So you're going to go to your teacher tools, start a class, and have your students sign in. Keep in mind that the instructions that I give you are for teachers using sign-in mode. However, remember from your Smart Response training that you can always use anonymous mode as well if you don't want student names to show up. So once you've opened your tools, you've started a class and had your students sign in, you want to make sure that your notebook lesson is also open. So once it's open, go ahead and deliver your content as you normally would. And then when you get to a question, you're going to go to your Smart Response tab and select Start this question now underneath the Progress button. Once you've started the question, you can monitor student progress, still using that Smart Response tab under Progress. And then once time is up or all students have answered, you can stop the question. At that point, you'll be able to see a final graph of student results, and then you can decide what to do next. You can either move on with your content, or you can even present that information again in a different way, clear the results, and take that assessment again. So let's give these steps a try. I just wanted to share one more reminder with you. Remember that you have to stop and start each question as you get to it. So every time you get to one of those pages that has a formative question, make sure you start that question, and then when you're finished, stop it. I'm going to use my Smart Response tab for the first one, but remember that you can also use your Stop Start icon up here in your toolbar. And right now it's black, but when you're on a page that has Smart Response content, you'll notice that it turns green, and it looks just like a play button. So you can press that to go and start your question, and then it will turn red once it's started. And again, you can go to that icon, press it to stop it. For the sake of time, I've already started a class and had students sign in, and I've also already opened a sample lesson. So I'm going to pretend to just scroll through my lesson as if I'm teaching. Here's my definition page. I have a page for examples as well. And then finally, I get to a page that has Smart Response content. I have a question that I want to ask my students before I move on. At this point, I'm going to select my Smart Response tab, and you notice that this play button is now green. I'm going to select Smart Response, and then I'm going to select Progress, and I'm going to start this question now. So once I start the question, it prepares the question, sends the information to my student clickers, and now my students can start to answer. As they answer, you're going to be able to see a graph of my student results. Up above, you can see that my start-stop icon has turned red, so I'll be able to stop it at any time. I'm going to show who isn't finished and also show my results preview so I can monitor how my students are doing. I can see that one student has answered and I'm still waiting for Alice Anderson. And then once they're all finished, I'm going to stop this question. So I can scroll down further and stop this question, or I can also go to next steps and stop the question there. So I've stopped the question. The graph is going to change just a little bit to show me that it's the final graph. And then I'll also see how many students have passed, or how many students have gotten the answer correct and how many students did not. So here I have the correct answer listed. I see that 2 of my students have passed, and I can even check to see how long it took. If I want to know exactly which student answered which question, I can go down to details and show And this is where I can show all of the different answers that students submitted. Okay, so since my students both got the answer correct, I would move on to the next page. So I have more content again, and then when I get to this next page, you'll see that once again I have a question. Oops, I mean examples, and then a question. So this is the second question in my lesson. I'm already in progress, so I'm going to go ahead and click start this question again. My students' clickers are receiving the information, so now they can answer. And as they answer, you'll be able to see their progress. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and stop this assessment using this stop icon. And that is how you're going to deliver your formative assessment. Thank you for joining us for another tutorial, and we hope that you'll join us again.